Imagine this. You're standing in a bar, not the best dressed, not the tallest, not the guy with a jawline sharp enough to slice marble. But there's a moment where a woman looks at you twice. Most men think that second glance is about looks. It's about the signal you project, how you occupy your space, how you refuse to rush for approval, how you create tension without fear. Attraction without looks is the art of emotional gravity, and you can build it on command. Start with the simplest shift. You stop auditioning. Every man who struggles with attraction is performing, laughing too soon, explaining too much, racing to fix discomfort the second she goes quiet. She feels the performance and instinctively tests you. If your center collapses under small pressure, she knows your attention means nothing because you can't even control your own. The trap is built on uncertainty. She gives you just enough drips of warmth to keep you coming back and just enough cold to make you work for more. The reason it works is simple psychology. Intermittent reinforcement binds you stronger than constant attention ever could. Your brain starts gambling on the next hit of validation. The internal cost is your self-respect. You don't hear your own voice anymore, only the noise of what you think she wants. And here's the knife twist. The more you try, the less she feels. Women don't fall for effort, they fall for presence. You can't be present if you're begging for outcome. So you build presence with boundaries you can feel in your bones. Let your eyes rest, slow your breathing, take a sip, look away casually, return when you choose. She's seeing whether your sense of worth is dependent on her instant reaction. Give short answers with a hook. I grew up around chaos, so I learned to keep things simple. Then stop. If she's interested, she will pull. Do not push. Your posture is your first line of frame control. A crooked spine tells her your world tilts around hers. If she uses withdrawal as control, takes hours to reply after being warm, forgets plans, acts vague when commitment is on the table, the cue isn't the delay, it's the tone when she reappears. If she returns with playful entitlement, like you should be grateful she's back, that's not a busy woman, that's a power play. Break it with indifference, not a speech. Reply once with light warmth, then match her pace. Do not confront immediately or demand explanations. You are a man with options. When she notices her tactics, don't pull extra investment from you, the game dies. If she escalates by provoking jealousy, mentioning other men, posting bait stories, weaponizing ambiguity, cut off the oxygen. No reaction publicly. Privately, reduce availability. I'm tied up this week. Let's aim for Friday if it opens. If she pushes again, you let the plan slip away without a chase. Indifference is the only language that ends manipulation. Anything else feeds it. You give compliments too early, reward basic effort with premium attention, restructure your schedule after one date, and then wonder why she fades. Here's the fix. Adopt a probation period mindset. If she initiates calls, you match the energy next time. If she asks to meet, you choose the time and place, and you keep it under 2 hours. You don't buy her affection with gifts or grand gestures. You make her earn intimacy with consistency. During this period, you run 3 quiet tests. Reliability, does she keep her word? Curiosity, does she ask you real questions? And contribution, does she bring ideas, share plans, or just wait for you to entertain her? Pass marks open you, fails close you. No negotiation. You also need to reclaim your center when her mood swings threaten to pull you off balance. If she gets moody or throws a minor tantrum, you don't fix her feelings. You hold your frame. I get you're not feeling it right now. Let's pick this up later. Then you step away. No sulking, no lecture. Return when energy is clean. If she seeks chaos, she'll try to bait you with accusations. You don't care. Your answer is simple and calm. I care enough not to argue. She'll learn that emotional storms don't move your ground. Safety. You don't abandon yourself to control her storms. Challenge. You don't reward bad behavior with closeness. Set a rule. You respond when it suits your rhythm, not your fear. You are training your nervous system to stop outsourcing validation. Do that for a week and watch your voice drop half an octave. Not because of magic, but because you're no longer pleading with the world. Have you ever caught yourself filling the silence because you were afraid she'd lose interest if you didn't? Which of these withdrawal games have you faced? Delayed replies, vague plans, or jealousy bait? And how did you react? What's the hardest part for you right now? holding your frame, matching investment, or walking away when she tests your boundaries. You think you need to say the perfect line? You don't. You need to carry the right frame. Women read frames the way you read facial expressions, instantly. Your words are background music. Your frame is the movie. Here's the frame that wins without looks. You are a man already in motion. Your life is a moving train. She can hop on for a ride that's fun, safe, and uncertain in the best way. But the train never stops to negotiate with indecision. Translate that into behavior. When you invite her out, give a clear, time-bound plan and a graceful out. I'm grabbing coffee at 6 near the park, join if you're free. If she hedges, don't debate. No worries, another time. That is leadership without neediness. It's decisive presence with built-in detachment. She feels you are not trying to capture her. You are inviting her. There's a difference, and it changes everything. Understand the escalation ladder, because attraction dies when you skip rungs or camp on one forever. Start with eye contact. You can hold for a heartbeat longer than comfort, then break first. Speak slower than you think. Silence is seasoning. Use it like a professional chef. If she leans in, mirrors your posture, asks follow-up questions, that's green light for light touch. Brief, non-sticky. Forearm tap when you laugh. Quick high five you don't hold. Watch for return touches or physical closeness. If she stiffens or gives short answers, you downshift to playful distance, not apology. We'll slow the movie. I was getting ahead of the plot. You calibrate, not collapse. If she tests with sarcasm, don't defend. Redirect. Spicy. Save the roast for after coffee. You're acknowledging the jab without giving it emotional protein. Withdrawal as control is a lab test for your nervous system. She cancels last minute? You respond once, neutral. All good. Let's try another time. Then you don't propose that another time. If she's genuinely interested, she'll suggest it. If not, silence is your closure. She comes back days later with a casual, hey? Mirror the brevity. Hey. Don't interrogate, don't chase. If she wants back in, she'll work. The trap most men fall into is explaining their worth. Explanations smell like fear. Instead, adopt the replacement rule. Any plan that flakes gets replaced with a self-respecting plan within 20 minutes. Gym, reading, friends, a solo dinner with your phone face down. Your life doesn't pause. When you live this, not fake it, your tone changes. That tone is more attractive than any six-pack. Overinvestment is solved by building a life that naturally limits your availability. Schedule your week first. Lock in your training, your craft, your money focus, your time with friends who sharpen you. Dating fits into the gaps. This isn't a slogan, it's logistics. If you're free every night, your attention has no price. People value what has constraints. Use a simple rule. 2 windows per week for new dates, 1 window for follow-ups. She can have it if she's consistent and enjoyable to be around. If she's chaotic, the calendar closes without drama. No speeches. Let your calendar be the barrier that your mouth doesn't need to enforce. Never forget the triad that substitutes for good looks: competence, composure, and playful polarity. Competence is your ability to handle things. Ordering a drink without fuss, solving small problems, picking a spot when she can't decide. Composure is your emotional stillness when pressure shows up. She's late, the hostess is rude, the weather turns. You don't huff or posture, you adapt. Playful polarity is light masculine tension. Teasing that respects, leading that listens. For example, if she's indecisive about dessert, you smile. We'll get 1 spoon. If you try to steal it all, I'm writing a formal complaint. It's safe, it's fun, it's leading. You're not auditioning, you're playing your role. Texting is where most men bleed out attraction. They text for reassurance, not logistics. Switch to the 2 purposes only. Set the date and share vibes. Share vibes means a short, flavorful ping that doesn't demand a response. A photo of a sunset with "this is illegally pretty." A quick inside joke from the date. No paragraph confessions. If she goes dry, you reduce frequency and increase density. Fewer messages, more weight. Free Thurs 7, new wine bar. If she ignores that twice, you archive mentally and move on. Your willingness to end cycles is what creates new ones. Scarcity is not a tactic. It's the side effect of standards. You also need boundaries around intimacy. Being nonchalant doesn't mean being careless. If she uses intimacy to accelerate control, hot one day, moral high ground the next, you remove urgency. I like where this is going. Let's keep the pace that keeps it fun. You slow the escalation without shaming her. If she tests with jealousy games, you disengage the scoreboard. If you want to compare, I'm not your guy. Then you switch topics or exit. Power's the option to leave, exercised calmly. Finally, build social gravity. Not fake social proof, real community. Host small things, Sunday coffee and chess, midweek runs, a rotating dinner with a couple of friends. Invite her into an ecosystem she can feel. Men with tribes are safer and more magnetic because they're not betting their whole identity on one woman's moods. If she senses your life is full, she'll want to earn a place. If she senses it's empty, she'll feel the weight of filling it, and that weight kills attraction. When was the last time you replaced a flake date with something that made you stronger instead of weaker? Which texting mistake burns you most? Over-explaining, anxiety pings, or demanding reassurance? If you tried the moving train frame this week, what invite would you send, and how would you handle a hedge? Here's the truth you've been avoiding. Mixed signals aren't a mystery to decode. They're a mirror of your tolerance. She keeps you on a hook because you keep biting. The cure isn't more analysis, it's consequences. Set the 3-strike rule and live by it. Strike 1. She's late, vague, or flirty then cold. You note it, you don't lecture, you tighten the frame. Strike 2. The pattern repeats. You reduce access, slower replies, shorter calls, you don't offer primetime plans. Strike 3. You close the loop with calm finality. Vibes off for me, I'm going to pass. Not cruel, not dramatic, just done. Consequences are attractive because they prove your standards exist outside your emotions. A man without consequences is a vending machine with a face. Press the right buttons, validation drops out. Now hard tactics for the 2 biggest traps. Silence games and social media bait. Silence games. She takes hours or days to reply, returns with casual warmth, and expects you to resume your role. Your nervous system wants to chase. Don't. Use the compression rule. When her responsiveness expands, your availability compresses. You shift to short, complete messages and propose one clear plan. No back-and-forth logistics. If she accepts, great. If she hedges, you vanish without resentment. Social media bait. Thirst traps, stories engineered to trigger FOMO, captions that read like subtext to you. Recognize the frame. She's training you to compete for a seat in a theater she owns. Break it by refusing public engagement. No likes, no DMs. If you're in contact, move the energy off platform. Memes are getting bold. Free Thurs 7. If she keeps it performative, you keep it peripheral. One woman's stage is not your battlefield. Screening saves you months. On date 1, run the reliability, curiosity, contribution triad quietly. Reliability. Does she show close to on time, text if she's behind, and follow through on small agreements? Curiosity. Does she ask a genuine question after your answer, or does she pivot to herself every time? Contribution. Does she help the momentum? Suggest a walk, pick a song, share something playful, or is she a passenger? If 2 of 3 are missing, you enjoy the night and downgrade the pipeline. You don't preach, you calibrate access. Attraction rises when access is aligned with value. That's not cold, that's sane. Build the king's schedule to protect your frame from emotional drift. Fixed blocks first. Training, money work, deep practice. Fixed social rituals. Thursday skill night, Sunday reset. Floating blocks, 2 dating windows. If she tries to pull you off your fixed blocks, you don't negotiate with your crown. I've got a hard block then, let's do 7:30 after. If she resents your priorities, she isn't a partner, she's a project. Projects are for contractors, not kings. And when you do meet, use the first date blueprint that turns average men magnetic. Simple spot with movement potential. Coffee near a park, wine bar by a gallery. 75-105 minutes max. 1 location change if the vibe warrants it. You lead decisively, yet lightly. Let's walk 5 minutes. There's a mural worth roasting. You end on your time. I'm heading out, early start tomorrow. Leave her wanting your presence again, not your endurance. Overinvestment dies when you practice the compliance ratio. For every invitation you extend, you need at least equal or greater return signal before escalating. She responds fast, you invite. She suggests a time, you lock it. She confirms the day of without prompting. You reward with full attention on the date. She goes vague, you pause. No spirals, no speeches. Your moves are calibrated by data, not fantasies. And when you get pulled into accusation traps, you're distant. You're too calm. Do you even like me? Remember the frame flip. You don't argue within her frame. You name your principle and return to warmth. I don't do panic texting. I prefer plans. Smile. Then ask a real question or pivot to a shared thread. If she needs chaos to feel wanted, she will disqualify herself. You didn't lose her. You avoided a war. Nervous system control is your hidden edge. Before you respond to a triggering message, run the 90-second protocol. Exhale long, drop your shoulders, unclench your jaw, and say out loud, I am not in danger. Only then reply, if you still need to. Before a date, 3 rounds of box breathing, 4-4-4-4, make you slower, heavier, present. Presence is audible. Your voice settles, your eyes stop scanning, your smile reaches your cheekbones instead of clinging to your teeth. That shift draws women without a single line learned from the internet. Use the indifference script when she tries to retake control via withdrawal. No worries. Another time. I'm heading out now. Enjoy your night. Short, warm, unbothered. Pair it with the replacement habit. Within 20 minutes of a flake, you replace the plan with a self-respecting action. Your body learns that your mood doesn't depend on her calendar. Do this for 30 days and your default becomes steady. Not because you're pretending, but because you've trained your nervous system that you are safe with or without her. Last, the anti-pedestal rule. Speak to her as a peer, not a prize. Compliment specifics, not worship. I like how direct you are. Beats, you're the most amazing woman. When you praise the trait, not the person, you avoid dependence. And when she earns deeper access, show it through experiences, not declarations. Shared rituals beat love bomb paragraphs every day of the week. Which boundary would change your life if you enforced it this month? 3-strike rule, king schedule, or compliance ratio? Where do social media traps pull you out of frame, and what will you replace that habit with? When was the last time you ended a cycle with calm finality instead of one more explanation? You don't need to be the loudest man in the room. You need to be the clearest. Clarity is a weapon. It cuts through mixed signals, indecision, and your own fantasies. Start by defining your terms with yourself, not with her. What is your standard for responsiveness, respect, and reliability? Write it down. If you don't name it, you can't enforce it. Then make clarity felt in the first 5 minutes you meet. Steady eye contact, grounded posture, deliberate speech. Ask questions that reveal character, not just chemistry. What does a great week look like for you? What do your friends count on you for? Her answers show routine, responsibility, rhythm. You're screening for stability dressed as charm. The man who screens quietly is more attractive than the man who sells loudly. You also have to dismantle the fantasy that you can out-talk a woman's disinterest. You can't. Interest shows up as initiation, availability, and effort. If you are always the one building the bridge, turn around. Your new protocol is simple. Initiate once, follow up once, then observe. If she matches momentum, you proceed. If she drains you with slow replies, vague interest, or perpetual rescheduling, your path narrows. Less access, fewer words, cleaner exits. This isn't cynicism, it's bandwidth management. You guard your attention because it builds your life. Every man attractive without looks understands that attention is currency. You don't tip big for indifferent service. Learn to recognize the emotional choreography of manipulation. Bait, tension, release. Bait is the flirty spark or nostalgic callback. Tension is the withdrawal or slight disrespect. Release is the breadcrumb. Missed you. A heart emoji. A casual invite at midnight. If you bite on release, the cycle restarts with you slightly more invested and her slightly more in control. Your counter is pattern interruption. When release arrives, you respond with warmth plus boundary. Good to hear from you. I'm free next week, early evenings only. If she tries to yank you into spontaneous, unearned intimacy, you slow the tempo. Let's actually plan something. Tuesday 7 works. You're not punishing her. You're refusing the slot machine. Polarity deepens when you move from approval-seeking to selection. Selection is expressed in how you curate the date, not how you compliment her. A curated date is purpose-built. Quiet enough to talk, dynamic enough to move, brief enough to leave high. You pick a place you know, where the staff nod at you, where you can choose a table that gives you a view of the door and the room. You arrive a few minutes early, greet the host by name, claim the space. When she arrives, your attention is undivided for the first 3 minutes. Phones away, shoulders square, voice low and even. You set rhythm. A question, a pause, a story, a tease. If she interrupts incessantly, you cut it playfully. Hold that. This part is the twist. You don't fight for airtime, you command it with pacing. If anxiety spikes mid-date, you don't confess nerves. You regulate. Feet flat on the floor, slow nasal inhale, longer exhale through pursed lips, eyes soften. You take a sip of water and re-enter the conversation at half speed. Anxiety loves speed. You make speed illegal. Then you deploy the two-thread method. Keep 2 topics alive so silences feel like choices, not failures. 1 light, travel fails, funny food takes. 1 deep, family dynamics, what discipline means to you. When she shares something vulnerable, you don't hijack with a bigger story. You reflect it back. That's a lot to carry. How did you handle it then? You become a mirror that sharpens, not a stage that begs. Sexual pacing is where many men lose the frame. They treat intimacy like a finish line instead of a rhythm. You establish intent without pressure. You make your interest explicit early enough to avoid friend-zone ambiguity. I like this. You allow touch to be episodic. Contact, release, contact. If she freezes, you ease off instantly without emotional sulk. Your face stays warm. No rush, we can chill. Consent is not only ethical, it's attractive because it signals control and respect. And when intimacy does happen, you keep your post-intimacy behavior consistent. No sudden clinginess, no interrogations. You maintain your schedule, your rituals, your tone. The man who remains himself after sex is rare. Rare is attractive. You need an abundance engine that isn't fake. Most men try to simulate options by swiping more. Real abundance is created by increasing the number of rooms where you are valued. Join or build micro-arenas where competence grows and women see you in your element. Mixed training classes, co-ed run clubs, volunteer projects that require coordination, creative meetups where you present your work. Not as a pickup strategy, but as a life strategy. Your charisma compounds when you are known for doing something well on a timeline, with other people relying on you. You become the man who moves things forward. People feel it before they know it. Stop negotiating with disrespect. If she disrespects a boundary, insults, belittles, breaks a deal you clearly set, you don't litigate the past. You enforce the present. That doesn't work for me. Then you step back. If she apologizes and changes behavior, great. If she apologizes and repeats, you close the loop. Attraction needs trust. Trust needs evidence. Evidence is behavior over time, not words under pressure. You are not a judge handing out sentences. You are a gatekeeper deciding access. The hardest discipline is walking when the chemistry is fire and the behavior is trash. That's where you prove to yourself that you are not starved. You can feel the heat and still choose clean air over smoky rooms. Detachment isn't coldness, it's loyalty to your peace. You will not be dragged into a lifestyle where your nervous system is a toy. When you hold that line, your face changes. Your eyes stop begging. Your laugh gets freer. Women don't fall for perfection. They fall for a man whose center they can't move with petty tactics. When was the last time you interrupted the bait tension release cycle instead of relapsing into it? Which part of the curated date would most improve your presence? Arriving early, pacing your speech, or running 2 threads? What boundary do you need to enforce without debate this week, and who becomes more attractive when you do? You think you need a new face. You need a new standard. Standards are how you become attractive without looks, because standards sculpt behavior, and behavior is the loudest pheromone. Start with the high-value no. You don't say no to punish, you say no to protect pace. No to late-night you up after days of silence. No to last-minute changes that cost you respect. No to second chances without measurable change. Your no is calm, brief, and final. Can't do tonight. I don't do late invites. We'll sit this one out. You don't explain, because explaining negotiates your value down. Let silence carry your price tag. Close the loopholes that keep you in emotional debt. Future faking is when she paints big pictures, trips, plans, we should, but doesn't anchor dates. Breadcrumbing is small pings that never lead to a meeting. Orbiting is watching your stories, never reaching out. Benching is keeping you warm while she invests elsewhere. The fix is a single line. Let's plan or pause. If she can plan, she will. If she can't, your life pauses her access. The reason this works is that you move decisions from vibe to calendar. Vibe is where fantasies breed. Calendar is where truth lives. Run your funnel like a professional. Awareness. Meeting women through rooms where your strengths are visible. Qualification. Brief, fun conversation that checks vibe and logistics. Commitment. One clear plan within a week. Conversion. A tight first date with a clean exit. Retention. Consistency plus curiosity. At every step, you have drop criteria. If she fails to qualify, rude to staff, chaos-heavy stories with zero ownership, you downgrade. If she can't commit, endless maybe, you replace. If she converts but doesn't retain, vanishes after intimacy, you close the loop without self-trial. Men who don't manage a funnel end up managing drama. Your voice is a frame device. The attractive man doesn't rush words to outrun silence. He speaks from the body, not the throat. Practical fix. Before a call or date, read a paragraph out loud at 80% speed, focusing on the last word of each sentence. Let it land. During the date, apply the one-breath rule. Finish your point in one breath. If it won't fit, you're rambling. When she finishes, wait half a beat. The beat proves you heard her. The beat is magnetic. State control beats, looks every day of the week. You need a pre-interaction ritual that makes your nervous system predict success. 10 push-ups, cold water on the face, box breathing, one song that anchors certainty. Then a micro-commitment. Lead for 5 minutes. Not the whole night, just 5 minutes. Order water, claim seats, open the first thread. Momentum is a currency. Once you mint it, everything gets cheaper. Logistics signal value more than flexing ever will. Pick venues where you're known by name. Tip well, not loudly. Sit where you can see the room. Keep the date 75-105 minutes unless it's clearly flowing, then extend once. If she tries to stretch the date when you feel it should end, you end it anyway. I'm out. Early morning. Walk me to the corner. That line blends leadership and invitation. You exit high instead of dying slow. Handle re-entry like a man who doesn't live in nostalgia. She comes back after weeks with, "Hey stranger, you're not angry, you're not eager. Good to hear from you. I've been stacked. Free one evening next week, 2-7, one offer, time-bound." If she hedges, you back to silence. If she agrees and flops again, you retire the cycle permanently. Attraction isn't about forgiveness tolerance, it's about pattern intelligence. Stop paying for connection with effort. Effort must match evidence. Evidence is attendance, responsiveness, and warmth over time. You're not stingy, you're precise. If she texts paragraphs of vulnerability but never shows up in person, she's using you as emotional Wi-Fi. You don't shame it, you step out. I don't do digital pen pal. Then go build the life that makes that statement true. Minimal style, maximal impact. Still within, without looks. Clean nails. Fitted clothes over branded clothes. 2 quality pieces that repeat. A jacket, a watch, so you become visually legible. Scent. 1 spray, not a fog. Shoes that can walk. The point isn't fashion, it's signal hygiene. You're showing you manage details. Managing details is pre-selection for managing life. Triangulation will test your calm. This other guy, or my ex said, do not compete. Compete and you're already beneath the frame. You elevate by opting out. Sounds messy. I keep things clean. If she uses other men to spark your pursuit, you reduce access. The only competition you participate in is with yesterday's version of yourself. That kind of indifference is nuclear, silent, decisive, attractive. Finally, ritualize your exits. A graceful close is worth more than 1,000 lines. We're not a fit for how I live. Wishing you the best. Block if needed. Not to punish, to protect your nervous system. Every clean exit raises your market price because you prove to yourself you can choose peace over fireworks. And the moment you become a man who can truly leave, you become a man women work to keep. When was the last time you said a high-value no that protected your pace? Which pattern hits your story? Future faking, breadcrumbing, orbiting, or benching, and how will you shut it down this week? If she reappeared tomorrow, what single sentence would you use to test for real intent instead of recycled drama? You've been trained to think attraction lives in her reaction. It doesn't. It lives in your decisions before she ever enters the room. Decide what you protect: your time, your focus, your peace, your standards. Decide how you lead: clear invites, clean exits, calibrated pace. Decide how you recover: quickly, quietly, without public autopsy. Attraction without looks is simply a stack of decisions repeated until your nervous system believes you. When your body believes you, your presence stops asking permission. The shift is subtle but seismic. You look at her without flinching. You laugh without scanning her face for approval. You let silence sit like you own the furniture. That's the man she remembers when she leaves. The man whose self-respect is not rented by the hour. Now, you close the last gap. Outcome attachment. It's the invisible leash around your neck. You call it hope. Your body calls it fear. Outcome attachment makes you text too fast, talk too much, and hold on too long. Detachment isn't apathy, it's precision. You care about the process, showing up grounded, leading with ease, listening sharply, ending clean. You don't worship the outcome because you know outcomes multiply when processes are sound. Practical detachment looks like this. You commit to the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes. Greet with full attention. Exit with full authority. The middle can breathe. If it goes sideways, you don't fix the universe. You finish strong and you go. The man who ends with dignity in bad moments is the same man who deepens attraction in good ones. If you've ever felt that sudden drop in your stomach when she pulls away, that's withdrawal from the drug you gave yourself. Fantasy. The antidote is data. Replace "she's perfect" with "what did she actually do?" Replace "we had a connection" with "did she initiate, show up, and contribute?" Replace "maybe I scared her" with "she chose something else." When you talk to yourself like a leader, the story loses its teeth. You don't need to be cruel to be clear. Clarity frees you to notice women who are actually available and to stop treating chaos like a soulmate. Here's what respect for yourself looks like in the wild. You're mid-date and she takes a cheap shot disguised as humor. You smile once. Cute. Don't do that again. Calm, direct, no edge. If she adjusts, you reward with presence. If she doubles down, you settle the bill and end it early. You'll be amazed how many difficult women become delightful when they meet a man who doesn't argue with disrespect. He removes the oxygen. Or she texts at 11:58 p.m. You up? After ghosting for days. You wake up, see it at 7 and reply at 10, I keep nights for sleep. You don't add a winky face to soften your backbone. Your life sets the tone, not her whims. You want a tactic that translates instantly? Live on the front foot. Not aggressive. Forward. Forward is making the room better just by entering it. You hold doors without commentary. You introduce people by name. You solve tiny frictions before they grow teeth. You're the man who gets the right table, who notices the draft and moves seats, who tells the server, we're not in a rush, pace us how you'd pace friends. Competence is erotic because it signals safety without softness. Pair it with play and you become gravity. Play shows up as a half smile when she tests, a ridiculous metaphor that breaks tension, a come on, we're investigating that mural detour that turns a routine night into a story. Women do not forget the men who create stories without drama. If she chooses someone else, you don't rewrite yourself. You tighten your ritual. You lift heavier, read deeper, sleep better, earn cleaner. You build something that outlasts her curiosity. The most magnetic men I've seen are not smooth talkers. They are reliable architects. Their days have a backbone. Their friendships have depth. Their attention has a gate. They are warm but not available to chaos. Women orbit them because they can feel that these men will not trade purpose for a pretty face, and paradoxically, that's what invites women closer. Selection breeds selection. Stop trying to be irresistible. Be unshakable. Irresistible is about her. Unshakable is about you. When you become unshakable, you attract women who want to build, not break. You also repel those who need a man to drown so they can feel taller in the flood. Both outcomes are wins. You are not here to collect attention, you are here to cultivate a life. And the life you cultivate will broadcast your value louder than any opening line you memorize. One day soon, a woman will test you with a silence, a tease, a delay. You'll feel the old reflex fire. Then you'll take one slow breath, feel your feet, and choose differently. You'll hold the pause. You'll reply when it suits your rhythm. You'll replace the plan with something that feeds your future. And you'll notice the strangest thing: your face feels lighter. Your voice carries weight. The room seems smaller. That's not charisma, that's peace. Peace is the most attractive trait alive, because peace means you are home, already, and she's invited, not required. She didn't break you. She revealed what you were too afraid to protect.